All right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Wednesday, September 28th, and we've got a slow week this week, but we're making up for it next week. We got 2 events in one night. Am I reading the calendar correctly on this one? Yes, you are reading the calendar correctly. We've got 2 events, and a Zinfandel tasting at Cafe Maxx a week from tonight, and then a port tasting. Is that allowed? Zinfandel and then port? High octane and higher octane? Well, we've got 2 different crowds here, I think, and this is our every other Wednesday tasting at Cafe Maxx. We've got to throw pretty much everything at you, so you get Zinfandel. It's coming up in a week. You know Zinfandel is not my thing, but hey, I take one for the team every year, and we put out some great Zinfandels, even one vintage wine from 2002 this year. We're going to show you guys at Cafe Maxx. That starts at 6:30. Chef Oliver Saucy will be putting out a few tasty treats to go with that, and then at 7:30, here at the Wine Watch, we have got Robert Bauer, one of the 8th generation of Yeatman family that runs the Fladgate partnership, will be here at the store to taste you on the new releases of the 2009 Taylor, Fonseca, and Croft, the 3 port houses that this partnership represents. And Robert is, like I said, the 8th generation in this family. 300 and some years these guys have been making port. He was born there and then moved to England to go to school, and then was actually working for a pharmaceuticals company for a couple years after college, and then decided it's time to go back to Portugal and run the family business, and he is going to be with us to tell you all about the different types of port. Well, we got 2 of them tonight. We've got vintage port, which vintage port is only declared a couple of times a decade. These 2009s were just released. You'll be the first people to taste these wines in South Florida, and these wines still need a little time. They're very, very young. Vintage port, well, it's declared vintage 2 years after the vintage. It's kept in these large 100-gallon pipes and then bottled immediately, unfined and unfiltered. That's why it throws quite a bit of sediment. You always want to strain a bottle of vintage port when you open it up. And then we have the another type of port, tawny port, one of my favorite types of port. Tawny port is kept in wood its whole life. And these 10, 20, 30, and 40-year tawnies are blends. They do make single vintage tawnies, which are called cojetas, which you don't have any tonight. But the blends can be very, very complex. When you go back to 40 years, the age with some of the vines in that bottle could be, 70, 80 years old. The average age is 40 years old, or 30, or 20, or 10. Really, to me, tawny port starts at 10 years. Got to have at least 10 years in the barrel to get that nice amber color, and to me, to be considered as a tawny. They have a nice nutty character to them, much more drinkable, and like I said, the vintage ports need some time, so we're going to give you an older vintage port. We've got 1985 Taylor. We're going all the way back to the 85 vintage. We've got some 03s on the table. Check it out. Everything we'll be serving you at our Zinfandel tasting at Cafe Maxx and our port tasting here at the Wine Watch. That's right, folks. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.